Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining Argano Arbella's webinar today on reimagining customer service for financial services, how to create an experience at every touch point. Today we're very excited about the content that we'll be sharing, the speakers that will be speaking, and hope everyone walks away from this with information that will impact their business immediately coming out of the sessions today. Now, with that said, we're going to go ahead and start the webinar. Again, excited about the agenda. As organizations, specifically in financial services, look to shift and keep up with market and industry trends, CX is one of the only controllable areas in which these organizations can really impact in a proactive manner. The themes and the topics that we're going to talk about today are all around balance. How do we empower both internal and external constituents? How do we optimize process to increase shareholder investor value? And then how do we leverage technology to automate these types of concepts? A lot of the details that we're going to speak about are, ideas and strategies that you can walk out of this webinar with and apply to your business immediately. Now, from a speaker perspective, we have some of the best thought leaders in the world on this call today. Kate Leggett, she is the VP and Principal Analyst for Forrester Research. She drives a lot of the content around these key areas around customer service and CX. We have Lou, who is the Principal Program Manager for the Microsoft Cloud for Financial Services. So Lou manages the entire Microsoft team, drives the product forward, and excited about what you're doing from that standpoint, Lou. In addition, we have a customer, Jackie with 210, who's been going through this digital transformation journey. She's going to talk about best practices and things that she's experienced and tips and tricks that you should pay attention to. In addition, excited to have Sasha on the call, who leads the global insurance team for Microsoft. She's going to help, moderate some of the questions at the end, talk about some of her experiences and best practice. And my name's Greg Moser. I'll be moderating the session today. I'm the VP of Dynamics 365 Client Engagement for Argano Arbella, lead the team, and excited to help moderate the session today. Now, before we jump into the content, quick overview around Argano Arbella, who we are, what we do, and some of the ways in which we go to market in this particular space. So, from a Argano Arbella perspective, we are a Microsoft tower, fanatically focused on delivering Microsoft technologies in addition to heterogeneous environments to drive business outcomes to our customers, partners and shareholders as well. We have around 1,200 team members globally with over 30 nationalities that represent our team across the board. And then, financially viable so that we invest in engineered assets, our people, go-to-market strategies, and educational events like today's webinar. So excited to introduce Argano Arbella for those that aren't familiar with the firm. We talked about industry assets that we deliver. Now, one of the things we always love to innovate, disrupt, and transform, and we do that through balance, which we'll speak to in just a minute. From a technology perspective, we have built a solution called CX Connect, which is a horizontal workload that we put industry skins on top of to help accelerate time to value, deployment, time and business value as well. We have horizontal workloads like customer service, for example, that we then put industry skins on for capital markets. So if you're a asset manager or managing broker dealer, a lot of dependencies with AUM on the back end. From an insurance perspective, we oftentimes plug in systems like Guidewire, Duck Creek, and homegrown, policy administration, claim management systems. And then for banking and credit unions, a lot of dependencies around core banking systems like, FIS and other ones out there. And what we do is we create a data model leveraging the Microsoft ecosystem. So from Dynamics 365 to the complete Azure stack, from an Azure Synapse, AI, machine learning, in addition to the Power Platform to drive to those business value, business levers, business outcomes, really looking at balance from that point of view. So again, we often talk about balance when we engage in these types of programs. And the way we look at it is like an equilateral triangle. A lot of times companies will focus on one of these key areas and, you're out of balance, right? Technology is not going to do it for you without people and process optimization. Just putting people in the mix will not address the issues and the outcomes without having, process and technology focused on, in addition to process as well. There are a lot of dependencies, a lot of market shifts going on. I mean, when we look at the volatility in the geopolitical landscape, those have impacts to our funds, our policies, and the way in which we drive accounts with our constituents, all of which has compliance and regulation. We have consumer behavior that's changing, the way in which they want to interact, and then data as well. So as you move this strategy forward, the concept of putting your customers first, always put balance as a top priority. It helps with organizational alignment and ensures that we're focused on the most meaningful, areas and understand what those dependencies and risks are as we kind of move these processes forward. The speakers that we have today, again, Forrester from a thought leadership perspective, we're going to really look at things from an industry analyst point of view. The survey data, the data points give us informed data to make business decisions. So excited for Kate to share some of the data surveys and trends and top of mind areas that companies are focusing on. It gives us a good, baseline. Then from a Microsoft perspective, we have the product team on the call. So Lou, Sasha, who leads the global insurance team as well, is going to look at it from both a product perspective and then what their customers are driving towards as well. And then 210, Jackie, she's going to talk really about some of the lessons learned and things that you should pay attention to as you move these strategies, these concepts, and these projects forward. And then obviously we're going to bring the balance into the equation to make sure that, we look at it from a people, process, and automation point of view. So really excited again about the speakers, the content, and the information that we'll be sharing. Before we do, one thing I wanted to mention is that for those that registered for the event, we will be offering a 1-day free CX maturity curve assessment to where we look at some of the business value areas that could help accelerate revenue, reduce OpEx, and increase shareholder value. We leverage the Catalyst idea framework that really looks at it from a balanced perspective. We develop roadmap and sequences. We look at persona definitions and segmentations. And then everything drives around KPIs, right? They got to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. And then we summarize everything with a point of view. So that will be offered up for those that registered. And if you have any questions, feel to reach out directly to the team, and we'll get back to you very quickly. Now, with that said, very excited again about the speakers that we have. Kate is going to, really talk about some of the industry data and drivers that, Forrester's seeing in the market, and had an opportunity to spend a lot of time with Kate in front of customers, participate in webinars, and, her content is a great place to start. So with that said, with no further ado, Kate, the floor is yours.
Hey, thanks, Greg. Always a pleasure to work with you. And thanks to everyone on the webinar here, taking an hour out of your busy days to listen to what we have to say. So where I want to start is I always start the conversation about customer experience by focusing on your customers. Who are your customers? What do they expect from you? And so we know that customer expectations have changed. And it's because your customers today, they're surrounded in their daily lives by experiences that up-level their expectations for engagement. They're surrounded by experiences that take all friction out of getting a task done. Think about, for example, ride-sharing apps that make it easy to get to where you need to go. Takes all anxiety out of getting to your destination. Or media streaming services that recommend movies and TV shows based on what you've watched and what you like. And it's like the screen says, your customers today, they expect any information or service to be available on any device at their moment of need. And your customers expect these types of experiences from any company that they're doing business with, both in their lives as consumers as well as in their business lives. And companies have to be laser focused on delivering experiences in line with your customers' expectations to be able to keep them satisfied and loyal to your brand. Because if you don't deliver upon their expectations, they're going to take their business elsewhere. So at Forrester, we break down what great experiences mean for financial services. And we have a little moniker, the super experiences that we use. And what does super mean? It means your experiences have to be simple. They have to be easy and as convenient as possible. They have to be ubiquitous. So products, services have to be available to your customer through the touch point of their choice. Experiences have to be highly personal. Products, services, again, tailored to that individual customer and their needs. Experiences also have to be empowering. They have to help your customer take action, take care of their financial health. And ultimately, experiences have to be reassuring. They have to give the customer confidence that they can achieve their objectives. And this also means providing live assistance, an agent, an advisor, whenever and wherever it adds value. And so to steal a concept from architecture, so we think of personalization as that keystone. It's the most essential piece of the structure that holds all the other components together. And it allows the structure to bear and to sustain the weight. It's really the most important part of delivering experiences in line with your customers' expectations. So why do you care about delivering great experiences? It's because great experiences have a real quantifiable impact to your top line revenue. It's ultimately good for your business because your customers who are satisfied with the experience that they get from you are going to keep their business with you. They're going to look at you for additional products and services, and this impacts their lifetime value. It also helps turn your customers into brand advocates. Again, recommending your products, your services to their network. And each of these dimensions of loyalty, retention, enrichment, and advocacy has a top line impact, or has an impact, a quantifiable impact to your top line revenue. And at Forrester, we go a step further. We actually quantify the value that great experiences have on your revenue. And every year, the way that we do it is that we go out and we measure the customer experience that hundreds of companies that are organized in dozens and dozens of industries deliver. And then we calculate the revenue impact that companies can realize if they deliver just an incrementally better customer experience score than what they do today. And that's some of the data that you're looking at. I know it's a bit of an eye chart, but it's the data that's in the right-hand column. And then what we do is we take our financial models and we validate them with case studies of companies that have gone through these customer experience transformations. And so on the screen here is our data from our financial services vertical. And for retail banks, for credit card issuers, brokerages, every instance that we have data on, raising your customer experience score has a material impact to your top line revenue. And ultimately, that's why you care about delivering great experiences. And then to just go a step further, here's some data that shows from the broader banking and financial services industry, where over the last couple of years, there's been a real prioritization and focus on delivering better customer experiences. And we see that financial services leaders are looking to improve, for example, their online and mobile customer experiences more than they did a couple of years ago. And those are really the two top data points on the screen that's really showing this focus on delivering better online and mobile experiences. And so, again, to drill into this a little bit more, we see three focus areas that financial services firms are really investing in to be able to deliver great customer experiences. So the first innovation or investment area is all around digital operations. And it's because over the course of the pandemic, we've seen this real uptake of digital channels by customers. And then, for example, for simple questions that don't require personalization, customers are using self-service channels. And this is the data in light green on the screen. It's what we call the automated channels. So we see self-service channels being used for all the basic work, like just a basic transfer or renewal. 31% of general customer service inquiries are handled via self-service. And this is because if you do self-service well, it really values the customer's time by providing them with that easy, effective way to engage with the company. And for the straightforward interactions, your customers are gravitating to digital channels like chat, like messaging, and in addition to email, because again, they provide an easy way to connect with an agent without having to navigate an IVR and then wait in a queue to get connected to a live agent or advisor. And what we're also seeing is that there's newer channels, more than just the text-based like SMS and messaging and real-time chat channels being used. We see, for example, voice self-service. That's the data point at the bottom of the screen. That's seen an 8-point uptake, or video chatting with an advisor or an insurance agent. That's seen a 10-point uptick over the last couple of years. Or using video to file, for example, an insurance claim. And this modality has seen a 5-point uptick. And again, it's because these experiences, these digital experiences, they're simple, they're personal, they're empowering, they're reassuring. And best of all, they're a great way to value your customers' time. So the next area investment or focus area that we're seeing financial services companies really double down on is around personalization. It's because your customers really want to be respected and known. And again, your customers, I mean, think about them. They've been impacted in really unique ways by the pandemic. And they're bringing a lot more emotion into the conversations that they're having with you. And they expect banks, insurers to value their business, to do the right thing for them. Looking at the main drivers of great experiences for retail banks, for example, the top drivers of being able to deliver great experiences are for banks to respect me as a customer, communication, and then customer service. And all of these attributes are more important than prices and fees that you charge. And that's the data in that black box that you're looking at on the left of the screen. And on the right, you see the percentage of customers who indicate that the banks do a good job in this category. And we see that only 60% of banks do a good job at respecting their customers. So there's a long way to go in this dimension. So personalization. Personalization is all about respecting your customer, being able to deliver experiences, again, in line with their expectations, with a full understanding of who they are, what they've done, life events, situational data. And remember that personalization is that keystone in that slide I showed you at the beginning of my presentation. And on the screen here, I just have examples of personalized experiences, like personalized offers or personalized sites, search results showing only the relevant information based on who you are, the products that you have purchased, personalized cross-sells and upsells that add value, that make sense for your particular situation, or even personalized notifications, like letting you know of a scheduled transfer or low bank balance, or if you're traveling abroad, personalized experiences to show your transactions in both currencies. And being able to automatically categorize transactions that have taken place abroad and see the value in both the local currency and the original currency. So again, personalization is a major area of investment for financial services to be able to support experiences, personalized experiences throughout the customer journey. And the third area of investment is all around the use of modern technology to help your agents, help your advisors deliver great experiences. And typically, agent advisor desktops are comprised of dozens of applications that agents have to use during the course of their workday. And these applications are not well integrated with one another. And on the screen here is an example of the IT ecosystem of a major bank. The IT manager actually handed me this schematic many years ago. And it's a great visual representation of the complexity of agent desktops and the number of applications that agents have to use to be able to serve their customers. Agents typically have to hunt and peck for data in all these different applications. They may have to cut and paste data from one application to another. And what it means is your agents, they're not following standardized processes, which ultimately erodes the quality of service that you're delivering. In this case, in this bank, it took agents 9 months to get fully trained up because of their complex ecosystem. But agents had a real tough time with the solutions that they had to use, and they ended up turning over every 6 months. So your customer never really engaged with a fully trained up resource, which again eroded the quality of service. And then you have to think about your agents or your advisors, and they're having a tougher job these days. The more you mature your self-service operations, the harder work gets to your front office. And your customers are coming in with more emotion. They're more distressed. They're bringing their anxiety, their anger into conversations. And your agents have really demanding jobs. Not only do they have to temper your customers' emotions, but they have to answer the tougher questions from your customers. And this places on your agents a real cognitive load on them. and they get what we call compassion fatigue. They just get tired and overwhelmed of dealing with complex interaction after complex interaction from frustrated or anxious customers. And again, if you look at the quality of service during a day, it tends to erode as your agents, as your advisors get worn down. And so what you have to do is you have to offload all the rote, repetitive work from your agents and let them really just focus on the conversation at hand. And this means adopting modern technologies that really do a great job at embedding automation and AI into the desktop. It helps increase efficiency. Again, making the front office a lot more productive, automatically routing work to the right associate, automatically classifying cases and spinning off next tasks. It can help reduce the friction in customer journeys, being able to automatically escalate issues based on the intent of the inquiry coming in, or the context or the sentiment that's being picked up in the conversation. It can also empower customers to do a better job at self-serving by fueling, for example, automated chatbot conversations that really work. And it can also, AI and automation embedded in your desktop can also help agents be more productive, to be more proactive, to engage with their customers even preemptively, to be able to strengthen relationships. And what we also advocate at Forrester is to adopt modern cloud technologies. And what we know, or what we're seeing today, is that 80% of CRM and customer service solutions are now deployed in the cloud. And it's not only because cloud solutions may be less expensive ultimately than on-premise solutions, but because they give you that business agility to be able to quickly innovate, quickly roll out changes, quickly pivot to new ways of working based on customer demand. So looking at all the enterprise technologies that have moved to the cloud, your CRM and customer engagement technologies is the third most prevalent technology that's moved to the cloud. And then on this slide here, I just list all the benefits of cloud technologies. Again, they help speed up the implementation time. They are ultimately lower cost than on-premise solutions. They help, they're easier, they make it easier to share information, and they embed collaboration technologies to allow the right resources to swarm around customer issues and do the right thing for customers. They're easier to maintain than traditional on-premise solutions. Again, they better support business innovation, and it's easier to be compliant to industry regulations because they tend to have better security. So to sum it up, you want today to really double down, or we see financial services institutions really doubling down on delivering great experiences to their customers. Why? Because great experiences make your customers stay with you, buy more product services from you, serve as an advocate. And these three drivers of loyalty, retention, enrichment, and advocacy have a quantifiable impact to your top line revenue. And we're seeing that financial services are doubling down in three investment areas. First of all, digitizing operations, supporting, increasing personalization to be able to deliver those value-added experiences to customers, and then supporting your front office with modern technologies that embed automation and AI and collaboration, and that are cloud-based to allow companies to be able to pivot new ways of working to be able to quickly meet and exceed your customers' expectations for engagement. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Lou.
Thank you, Kate. It's always great to hear the analyst view and observations and how they validate some of the things we at Microsoft are also seeing in our customers' landscape. But when we look at the past couple of years, you know, the pandemic has been a catalyst for change in almost every industry. We're seeing years of digital transformation happen within months. And when we talk to our customers and partners, we see themes that validate some of the things you've been telling us in your observations, which is customers are more digital first, self-serve first, and they want their service provider to meet them where they are on their own terms. So it's that customer experience expectation that our customers are now expecting from us and from their service providers. The other side of the coin is employee experience and expectations. So employees are expecting their employer to give them the tools to be productive and to know their customers and to serve their customers in a remote and hybrid world. And in financial services, with interest rates nearing zero, banks and financial services institutions are looking for value everywhere in the value chain to provide to their customers. And we cannot forget or underestimate the role that security, compliance, and financial crime, how they're top of mind for decision makers in almost every industry. And in financial services, when we talk to CXOs, they tell us that they believe cloud adoption is going to accelerate their ability to meet their customers' expectations and give them that agility to digitally transform and continue to transform and keep up with the ever-increasing customer expectation landscape they operate in. And with that landscape in mind, Microsoft has been doubling down on its investments in financial services. And in November of last year, we've announced the launch of a new offering in the market called the Cloud for Financial Services. That's really mandated to deliver these three key business outcomes, mapping to the problem statement I just described. So we focused on solving customer experience, delivering a memorable customer experience that's going to set the service provider from their competition. So that's one. The second is equally important, is on the employee productivity and employee teamwork side, enable employees to be productive, foster a culture of collaboration and engagement in this remote space, and not forgetting the ever-increasing regulation scrutiny that our FSI customers have to deal with, and the financial crime space that is equally important, all built on a common foundation of trust, compliance, and security that our customers have come to expect from the Microsoft Cloud overall. with a data interoperability that allows them to maximize the value from the investments they made in the different clouds and in the different technologies within this ecosystem. And when we announced the initial release, we announced some brand new capabilities in retail banking. And our intention has always been to expand to more sub-verticals and go deeper into each of them. So expect in the roadmap innovation in insurance, in wealth management, and in capital markets along the same principles that I've described. When I typically talk to my customers and partners about the cloud for financial services, the first question I ask is, so what is it? What capabilities do you enable? And I always like to tie it back to business objectives and the problems we've set to solve in this space. And if we look at the top half of this capability wheel, it's all about customer and employee experience. And in that space, we've shipped a number of capabilities around unified customer profile and the idea of infusing AI into disjointed data to bring a unified view to the advisor to help them really understand the client and understand the client journey to ultimately deliver that personalized experience Kate, you told us about. In addition to that, we've shipped a number of collaboration and onboarding capabilities and omni-channel engagement capabilities to give both employees and customers that personalized experience. And in the second half of this capability wheel, equally important, security, compliance, and fraud protection are brand new capabilities that we went to market with and are available for our customers as part of this program. And when I present this, the second question I typically get is, so is this a new cloud, or how does it intersect or complement the technologies that Microsoft already has in the market? And this is a busy slide. The key point I want you to take from this is these capabilities that we've went to market with, we built on top of technologies that our customers and our partners are already familiar with. So these are technologies that have been in the industry for quite a number of years: Power Platform, Azure, Dynamics, Dataverse. We took the best of the Microsoft cloud, we put it together into these first-party experiences that are geared to solve these business problems with a data fabric at the bottom that's going to connect the cloud for financial services with the rest of the ecosystem. We saw that enterprise architecture diagram you showed us. It's not lost on us that our customers have complex ecosystems. They have many applications, line of business applications, mission critical applications. So that foundational layer that sits at the bottom that connects our cloud for financial services with the rest of the customer's ecosystem is very important. And to tie it all together, because partners are very important to Microsoft and the way we do business, we intend to partner with our partners to deliver the optimal value to our customers. So think about all of our partner solutions, all of our add-ons that are out there, sitting on top and next to everything Microsoft is building. Those can be capabilities that our partners extend further and make very unique for very specific scenarios. For example, one of our partners took our onboarding solution and further tailored it to the mortgage industry. So now they have a mortgage onboarding scenario built on top of this predictable stack. And other partners sit next to it to enhance or add new capabilities. And with that, I will hand it over to Jackie to put it into customer context and tell us about her experience there. Jackie, over to you.
Yes, thank you so much. Clicking slides. I'm qualified. The question that I was asked is what is business digital transformation? And those who don't ask why. And so I thought I would just very simply keep it to that today. What is business digital transformation? Well, digital transformation is adopting digital tools and operations to reach strategic business goals. You're focusing on the enterprise from the internal processes to the customer interactions. And the piece or pieces that most miss, it has to start with those internal and business processes. And as everyone has said so far today, customer interaction. So what is the customer looking for? How are we solving a customer's problems? How are we becoming irresistible to a customer and what we can provide and what we can do with and for them? Digital trends have also had an impact on our customers' lives, clearly, and that's driving their everyday expectation of what companies do and what companies they do business with. So the big why is because the customers are asking for it, and if the customers are asking for it, we should be able to meet them at that point of request. Digital behavior is driving the way we need to do business. The majority of the people want to interact digitally. Great data has been shared today on that topic. They want to do service, or they want to have service 24/7. If they're up at 3 in the morning and thinking about something relative to financial services, that's the time they want to interact with us. How do we create a great, consistent experience that does that for them? On the internet all the time. We are always on all the time. We're always searching, and digital solutions give that customer the opportunity both to interact with your firm, find your firm, but also somewhat architect their experience with you. And then really, in order to achieve the strategic results we're all looking for, technology has to be enabled to serve and compete in today's business climate. It's so interesting to think that it wouldn't be something that a company's focused on these days, because it is sort of just the table stakes to get in to do business and partner with everyone else in that area. So why are we doing it at 210 Home Buyers Warranty? Well, we're a home service contract and home service warranty company. We do aftermarket, if you will, service on home systems and appliances. We've been in business over 40 years. And we are doing this for the same reason that everybody else is doing it, to improve experiences for our people, to improve our processes, and to enhance our technology. So starting with people, we're looking to create a better customer experience. How much more cliche could that be? It's the 2022 version of touch base, or I'll circle back on this. But we're trying to create a better customer experience, and enhancing customer experience is a gigantic part of digital transformation. Delivering an improved, unmatchable customer service separates this organization from that one. And I'd like to say the successful from the not as successful. Digital transformation ensures an efficient customer experience, whatever that means to them, because you're designing and automating a flow, a workflow that has more agility, has more nimbleness to it, and it meets the customer at that point of need, whatever that point is for them in that moment. We increase productivity among employees. I think as an operations leader and as an IT leader, which is how I've spent my career, I'm nonplussed at times by how little some firms look at that employee experience and think about how that's translating to the customer. It seems intuitive. And if you were just having a conversation about it with most business leaders, they'd absolutely tell you that there's a correlation. However, with us, we're looking to strategically improve that employee experience, thereby adding to that customer experience that we're trying to improve at the same time. We need to optimize the workforce, because there is a bottom line involved in all of this for all of us as well. Especially now that we have employees everywhere. We were one of those firms who had never had a remote employee. And then on March 16th, 2020, we had all remote employees, and now everybody works pretty much everywhere. And so a better digital experience and platform for those employees creates a better experience for everybody. It plays a pivotal role in helping those workers optimize at least the primary functions of the work that they're doing, and it improves the stability of those remote work solutions all the way through and through. On the process end of it, my title is VP of Business Digital Transformation, because digital transformation is about business much more than it is about technology. The organization has to change the process, rules, and structure to drive the strategic business results. And then we come to companies like Microsoft to align the technology that's deployed and implemented to underpin the work that we're doing with the processes and the people. It's symbiotic. It is not completely technology. However, technology does drive better business decision and decision making. 2 words: big data. Digital transformation uses structured and unstructured data to develop personalized, valuable results for your customers and for your employees. Technology enables and data enables agility and real-time feedback to the people involved in an interaction and to the people who are learning about and designing those interactions. Businesses can now collect a tremendous amount of data through multiple streams, not just within their own systems. The Internet of Things can be deployed in a better way. And with this data pool being stored in servers, company can process those data sets in that high-end analytical tools. Now, I'm not telling you anything you don't know. I used to call this preaching to the choir, I'm sure. But for us, it was never a lack of data. It was a lack of actionable data that was getting in our way. When you have these huge buckets of data, but no real streamlined way to parse it and put it together, it's not very valuable to you at that point. So as we deploy AI as part of our solution as well, it's just going to make us smarter at doing what we need to do. And then, of course, finally, technology, right? That's what we're here to talk about to some extent. We need to protect our production environments. Those people who are working on legacy systems can empathize that every night you go to bed saying, okay, we're going to do what we need to do. It's sturdy. It served us well for a long time. But what if it goes down? Who am I going to come in to do the work to get it back up again? This is old technology that we're sitting on when it's a legacy build. We need to get on a platform where we can be nimble with whom we do business and how we support those platforms and systems that we have in place. I think we all know that enhanced security is incredibly important. I think we learned even more about that in 2020 and 2021. Being on these newer platforms, engaging with these newer technologies helps ensure that your customers' data is protected, your employees' data is protected, and that your business is secure. And then finally, I've touched on it a couple of times, and both speakers have touched on it as well. Better technology allows you to compete and collaborate better. So it allows you to organize, manage, and track operations between different programs, different divisions, departments, and it puts you in a great place to partner with other firms using similar technology to do shared wallet initiatives and or support each other in the business that you do. We do a ton of work with independent contractors, independent suppliers, and having a better platform on our end actually gives them a better platform to work with, but it also makes us, again, like I said, more symbiotic in the work that we can do together. Generally speaking, business digital transformation is difficult. It's not something that you want to go deploy unless you understand that planning, and then planning a little bit more needs to be at the heart of everything that you do. And you have to have a clear, what we call North Star. You have to have a reason for doing it that gets you through the times when it's difficult. And when you partner with different organizations who understand that as well, you have a great experience, which is what our experience has been. And we're looking forward to it. We're kind of in the earlier days, but we've deployed a couple of things so far so good, and look forward to greater results as we continue down the path. That's what I had to say, and I think we're going to segue back to Greg and into a segment of questions and answers. Thanks, Greg. Yeah,
no, that was great, Jackie. And you are true digital transformation, shifter, disruptor, and transformer. So thanks for all the feedback. A lot of great points. I'm actually going to circle back on a couple, Jackie, based upon additional content that you discussed. But for now, we're going to ask the speakers to go ahead and turn their cameras on. We're going to have a formal kind of Q&A, ask the experts, and we have a series of questions that have been asked and a series of questions that have been discussed that we're going to go through. So the first question I'm going to push to the speakers, and we have plenty of time for a Q&A. So first question will go to Sasha, then Kate, then Jackie. And the first question is, what is the biggest prohibitors to financial firms, meeting their CX business objectives? So that can be translated in, what are the common pitfalls? What are some of the common blockers, Sasha, that you're seeing on a regular basis with your customers that are looking to transform? I'll go ahead and open the floor to you.
Sure, thank you. Great insights by all the speakers, by the way. I really enjoyed some of what we heard from all of them. So I'll tell you the biggest struggle that one has on CX, I would say, the fact that it was not actually one of the priorities for a long time. It has now become one of the biggest priorities, and I think Kate mentioned that in her presentation pretty clearly. But the bigger issue is the way organizations are structured. So if you think about customer experience, it actually goes across silos. It is about the value chain of a customer as opposed to, say in an insurance organization, actuarial or underwriting or policyholder servicing or claims. It's about me as a policyholder. So how do I think about the value chain of a customer and all the various touch points, identify each of the friction points, and then work across an organization to make every opportunity the customer has for engagement frictionless. So I think the biggest difference is, and I think Kathy mentioned this very specifically, it's like herding cats. It's like bringing everybody to the table and then saying, we need all of you to talk across your individual silos to make sure that the customer actually has a smooth and frictionless experience. So it's just that reorientation that needs to happen, because what tends to happen is people optimize in bits and pieces of their organizations as opposed to thinking about it across the value chain.
Yeah, that's a great analogy, herding cats. I mean, we're definitely professional cat herders at the end of the day. And then that closed loop process, Sasha, that you mentioned as well is very important. I guess any additional color commentary on just the importance of, defining that closed loop process as companies look to kind of transform?
So I think we're seeing more and more of this, right? So there are obviously technologies that are helping us do all of this, but it's just stepping back and looking at it across the entire organization. So using technologies like design thinking, using technologies like measuring customer experience, using feedback loops from the customer, whether it's CSAT, whether it's NPS. So you really have them tell you where they need more input, where they need more engagement, where they want more personalization, where they want you to be more proactive as opposed to reactive. So I think ensuring that you hear from your customers exactly where you are doing well or not doing well. And Kate talked about some of these at the beginning of her presentation. That's probably the most important thing, which is it's great for us to innovate in our own bubble, but if we're actually not solving the problems that the customer has, you're pretty much defeating the purpose of everything that you're working towards.
Yeah, great beacons of light, business value, organizational alignment and consensus, and then, closed loop process, invaluable. Thank you for that, Sasha. Kate, same question to you. Obviously, we've had a lot of discussions around this over the years, and you've had an opportunity to work with quite a few companies and get great survey and data points back. What are you seeing as some of the prohibitors that financial services firms are experiencing when they try to move these types of, strategies forward from your point of view?
Yeah, like Sasha said, I think one of the biggest inhibitors is being many financial services companies are organized around products. And very product centric, and looking at, you've got organizations built up around the success of different products. And what you have to do is strategically shift to be customer centric instead of just product centric. And again, that means breaking down operational silos. It's also really aligning the C-suite in terms of customer centric priorities, because without that executive alignment and prioritization, it's very difficult to break down these organizational silos, from a bottoms up approach. It's also having, so it's like what you said at the beginning of your presentation, Greg. So it's about having a customer-centric strategy. It's about processes, being able to orchestrate customer-centric processes around work that the customer is doing that breaks down or aligns, like marketing and service organizations. It's also having the right technologies, for example, to be able to bring the right resources to swarm around a customer, to do the right thing for the customer, to be able to think about claims management, to be able to hand work off along the process without the customer having to repeat themselves or without any information being lost. So a lot of it is not only having the right processes, but having that modern underlying technologies to be able to move work along, to be able to personalize interactions, to be able to allow the right resources to come together to work on what matters to the customer. Here, you're on mute.
Sorry, it really is about the customer centricity, Kate. I'm just, reminded by a lot of the white papers that I've read that you produce around persona, journey mapping, segmentation, putting the right information, the right channels in front of the right individuals at the right time to provide that superior level of service. And it all starts with that mindset. Get away from that transactional mindset. Products drive us, but the customer will dictate the journey. So great feedback on that. So Jackie, same question. If you want to spin it a little bit different, but curious, what are some of the prohibitors that you've seen from your point of view and some of the actions you've taken to address?
Sure. It's hard. I think that's the biggest reason it causes people, gives people pause to do it. It's hard. It's difficult to consider where to start and how to prioritize your steps through the process. I also believe it's difficult for people who know what they're doing and do it really well to ask questions that might completely disrupt their life. So if they've been doing business one way, if we've been doing business one way and been doing it successfully for a long time, you can convince yourself that you're going to be able to continue to do that and ignore all of the signs. When you take a survey of any kind, whether it's a customer satisfaction survey or an employee survey, et cetera, they've told, best practice for years is don't ask a question you're not ready to answer. So when you go ask a customer a question and they give you an answer that's uncomfortable, but it's real, their experience with you was not what they expected it to be and not in a good way, you have to be willing to go do something about that, because people will remember that you asked and didn't take what they said seriously. So the fact that it's difficult and the fact that you're asking people who've been in positions of authority, positions of influence, have maybe even transformed their industry in their own time frame, you're now asking them to do that again and they maybe don't know how. It really becomes mental game to try to overcome that. And then I said probably the third thing would be, this is a marathon and not a sprint. So having a marathon mentality, if you're a runner, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it could translate to anything, any disciplined event that you interact with in your life that takes longer than about 5 minutes. Our attention span is not good as a society these days. And so engaging in a marathon level commitment to a project is difficult to execute these days. So those are some of the things that we've had to deal with. And we had to knight, if you will, ambassadors, people who were not going to lose heart, people who could mantra why we're doing this over and over and over again, people who could withstand the comings and goings of people who found it too difficult and had to move away. But really, it really comes down to just keeping it simple. Why are you doing this? Keeping that in front of you and keeping yourself strong and healthy and mentally focused on it all the way through.
Yeah, it is a journey, a marathon, to say the least. And yeah, great data points on that point, Jackie. So given the timing, if everybody just wants to wrap up with a closing statement, Jackie, if you wouldn't mind, just one takeaway that you'd like to speak to the audience about, then we'll move to the other presenters and close the session.
I really think the data doesn't lie. Just the data that was presented just in this webinar alone is gold. And if that can be a direction towards your North Star, take it, hold on to it with both hands. We're not joking. It has to be about the customer, and that data really underscores that. So pay attention and use it well.
Yeah, great feedback. Lou, you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Maybe what I'd love to leave everybody with is, to help our customers digitally transform, Microsoft had to transform itself. Our customers don't think about digital transformation in the context of products and features. They think of it in context of business problems and outcomes. And we internally had to restructure our thinking, our philosophy, our culture to bring the best of all of Microsoft in these industry clouds. These industry clouds are not Azure, they're not Dynamics, they're not Office, they're everything. And that is the point, to bring it all together, to give you an end-to-end seamless experience, seamless journey that solves that problem. Only Microsoft can give you that breadth.
Yeah, really excited about what you're doing, Lou. Kudos and congratulations. Kate, you want to go next?
Yeah, great customer experiences. I know it's the topic of the day, but it really pays off. It really drives that top line revenue growth. And great customer experiences rest on great employee experiences, being able to support your front office with the right technology. So don't use outdated technologies. They will hold you back. There is so much goodness that is available in modern technologies out of the box in terms of embedded automation and AI and collaboration and industry models and workflows and security and compliance standards, on, that, again, take time to invest and then look at modern technologies to be able to drive better employee experiences and ultimately drive better customer experiences.
Yeah, and you've helped build this to this state from an industry perspective. So I also highly recommend that you check out Kate's white papers, blogs, and content, first class. So Kate, thank you for that. Sasha, last but not least, would love you to kind of close us out from words of wisdom, any advice you can give the audience as they move down their digital transformation journey.
So I think the panel has covered it. There's data, there's technology, there's employee experience along with customer experience. So I think that covers most of it. The only thing I would say is don't do any innovation in isolation. Make sure you have listening posts. You've got to go back, use the technologies to listen to your customer, use the data to listen to your customer, and use that as an input into your innovation. Innovation in isolation is not going to get you anywhere. So make sure you're constantly listening.
Yeah, innovation, isolation, so true. Yeah, great words of wisdom, Sasha. So thank you for that. From everyone at Argano Arbella, we'd like to thank you for taking this hour out of your day today to spend with us. We hope the information was informative, educational, but more importantly, fun. Hope that everybody can take a couple of these ideas, concepts away from this webinar and incorporate these internally immediately. In addition, just as a reminder, we do have a CX assessment workshop. So free one-day workshop for all those that attended. And we, again, like to thank everybody for taking time out of their busy schedule today. With that said, that concludes the session for today. So thank you again, and have a great day. That concludes the session. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.